First day of Kwanzaa, and so this will be my first Kwanzaa reflection video. So first I want to just start off with a little information about Kwanzaa. I'm not going to go into the history, just some basics. There's 7 days of Kwanzaa, starting from the December 26th to January 1st, and there are 7 principles, one to go with each day. The greeting for each day of Kwanzaa is Habari Gani, which is how's it going or what's the word, and the response is whatever the principle of the day is. So today is umoja, which is unity. So Habari Gani, and the response is umoja, unity. So this video, I just want to reflect a little bit upon umoja and the sense of unity and the concept of unity. So this year has been a crazy year. It's been a great year. A year full of exploration for myself. A year full of finding out more of who I am and becoming more of the man that I was created to be, and starting an amazing journey down a path that I would not have ever expected to be on. But that path has led me to a place that has brought me in some ways closer to exploration of more things, closer to questioning things, closer to fighting for justice in a different way, and looking for answers in a way of repairing our world, tikkun olam. And that is something that I wanted to talk about today in relation to unity. One, I think that we have, I know that we've been, this country has always, or at least as long as I can remember being, as long as I've been alive, has been in a place of divide. Politics have, in some ways, made a lot of people senseless and unable to talk about things, unable to talk about really tough topics, because emotions get high when politics get in the way, and reason gets left out, and we have extremes on both ends that appear or tend to happen, and very seldom do people stop and listen and find out the facts of what the other side is talking about. So 2 weeks ago, on December 14th, we had a tragic happen in our country in Newton that involved gun violence. And there's been lots of talks about gun control and gun reform. And one of the things that struck me in these conversations is, I'm not going to say both sides, right? It's the conversation or the fear that people want to take the right for other people to hold guns away from people, and the right for people to own guns away from them. I think that, particularly when it comes to unity, I think that is really important in this situation, that that people just stop and listen to what each other is saying. I will fight as much as I can for gun control. I will fight because there are some flaws in our system, some major flaws. As a person who has struggled with a lot of different things, I know that it takes 3 months for me to get into see a psychiatrist, and it would not take that long for me to purchase and own a gun. I would never say that people's right to own a gun should be taken away from them. But I would say that we should look at what semi-automatic weapons are and look at how and in which ways is the gun industry regulated. What does that look like? Since December 14th, there have been reports that the gun sale has increased and has went up drastically since December 14th. That bugs me, that bothers me, that actually concerns me about the state of our country, about the state of our nation, but also about the way in which we treat our children and the way in which children are seen. And I would like to see a world in which the tragedies such as Newton doesn't happen, but also would like us to have conversations, reasonable conversations about gun control. I would like for us to start and stop and thinking about what these issues mean, and looking at the Second Amendment and what does the Second Amendment actually mean and what was it actually created for. I don't think I don't think any of us are looking at overthrowing the government and having the right to own guns to overthrow the government and create a militia. That's not. That was the purpose of the Second Amendment, and that's not what we're talking about today. And that's not what a lot of people are talking about today. Sure, I'm sure that there are people who think that guns should be completely be outlawed, and that's not what I'm saying. And likewise, I think majority of people who are asking for gun control and gun reform and gun regulation are not asking to outlaw guns. I think I am asking for it to be regulated, and I hope for the unity of our whole country, not just the unity of our country, but the unity of the world, right? Like the sense that we're all connected. Ubuntu, I am because you are. We're all connected with each other, and there's a form of humanity within all of us, and this sense that one is greater than the other, I think, is flawless. I mean, it's flawed. I'm sorry, it's not flawless. It's very flawed. And how do we create this world of umoja, of unity, the sense that we are all so connected, and there's been sparks of amazing, wonderful unity that I've seen over the past year, and how a nation can come together in the wake of tragedy, or how faith communities could come and change, make history, and how, I mean, even in just Minnesota, 2 amendments, November 6th was voted no, didn't pass, and that was amazing. And the faith community stood up and said, no, we're not going to stand for this. And so really what I'm doing right now, what I want to say is I'm calling out each and every person of faith to stand up, and to take a stand, and to fight for what we know to be true and what we know to be right. And that's not just in relation to gun control, and gun regulation. Yes, I'm going to fight, and spend energy and time to urge and push people toward gun regulation and help with some of those things on a activist level, but also not just with that, with mental health issues. We have a very low and a very lack of readily available mental health resources, and I'm going to fight, and I will urge each and everyone to fight and think about how we can make mental health resources more readily available. I'm not saying that the two are connected, but I know that in the aftermath of Newton, there's been lots of conversations about mental health. And I think that goes right along with umoja, with the unity. There are lots of us, lots of people who struggle every single day to have unity of their peace and mind and soul, and to be one. And many people cannot manage to have that for themselves, and it's a struggle for them. And I believe part of our job as people of faith, part of our job as people in general, part of our job as humanity is to help our fellow citizens, our fellow brothers and sisters, and people who don't identify as male or female genders, to be with them and to walk with them and to help them find peace of mind as we find our own peace of mind. Thank you, Haboyagani.